What's up, everybody? It's Chad again. I just got back from a nice cold walk. It's snowing out again, which is really cool. I dig the winter, I dig the cold. It's very therapeutic. I'll go over that in some other video because today we are talking about an herb called horsetail. Horsetail it's probably in my top 10 herbs that I use on a consistent basis for a whole multitude of reasons, but many of you who may be familiar with the work of Dr. Bernard Jensen probably have some familiarity with it because he refers to it as shave grass. It's most known historically for its content of silica, or in some older text it will say silicon. Now, the whole thing with herbs is you can't really break it down to one particular constituent. So in a lot of cases, they have effects on the plants have effects on the body because of the way that the entire makeup of the plant interacts with your own biochemistry. So we can't really deduce it down to one single element. But the thing is, it's very known historically for being able to grow hair and make hair more strong in the case of things like split ends. It can also make brittle nails. It'll help the body to make the nails a lot stronger. It can repair teeth, if used over time. This isn't a type of thing where you can have a cup every now and again and expect to get results. You need to consume it on a consistent basis. So I'll go ahead and show you what the tea looks like. So that's the tea right there. Now, generally, what I do is, the recommended dosage generally is about 4 ounces 2 to 4 times a day. And with this particular herb, what you want to do, make sure that you do, because the cellular matrix of the way that it's made up, it really has the good stuff, we'll say, really locked into the fibers of the plant. So with that puppy, you got to make sure that you put it on the stove and you boil it for about 15 to 20 minutes with a lid on. If you go ahead and just try to make an infusion of it, it's really not going to draw out any of the good stuff. So just do that. Leave it capped 15-20 minutes. The only thing with this herb also I'll add is, generally speaking, you don't want to just eat the herb, like grind it up and put it on food, because in some cases, it's very rare, but when people have actually eaten the horsetail, it can cause some issues with kidney irritation, especially if done over time. But the just drinking of the tea is incredibly safe. I'll show you with the herb itself. This is obviously dried because, as I mentioned, it's snowing outside, so fresh is not an option right now. But that's just what it looks like. If you're ever looking it up in a field guide, you might see the Latin name as Equisetum hyemale. And it's got a very earthy, kind of cool taste to it. Some people, to me, it's very neutral. Some people need to add in a little bit of peppermint to make it more flavorful, as with lemon balm as well. They'll use a little bit of lemon balm in there to make it a little bit more palatable. But like I said, safe to consume on a daily basis. It's when you are harvesting it, if it is that time of year, which is the springtime, and depending upon the region that you live in will dictate if it's early in the spring or later in the spring. And you want to make sure that you get it from an area that's not a roadside. I'm one of those herbalists who's not into picking things from a roadside. Some will say that when you do harvest a plant near an area like that it has built up strength to toxins and all that, and it's able to pass that strength on to you. My question to that would be, well, then why do we even waste time buying organic food? Just saying. But so generally, you do find it a lot on roadsides. That's why I brought that up. But try to get it away from a road, and it usually grows in more of like a sandy, gravelly area. And the real good stuff will grow in direct sunlight. So if it's in the shade, you might want to just forego it. And you know, it's a very, very common plant, so you can find it in field guides. Just do a little bit of research, and once you do see what it is, you might just be shocked that, well, yeah, I see that plant all the time and I never even thought to use it. So, and when you do get it and you harvest it, if you're into tincturing, it's very good to tincture fresh, more so than when it's dried. If you are drying it, you want to bruise it and break it up and then spread it out on something like a screen or something to that nature and let it dry. As not, you don't necessarily want to throw it in a food dehydrator, but you want it to dry out relatively quickly because of its more fibrous nature. It can tend to dry rot a little bit easy, but like I said, used historically for a long time. It's I mean, Rudolf Steiner, he, if anybody of you familiar with him, he always noted how the use of silicon aided in being able to transport nutrients to more of the extremities of the body. So a lot of times it would be used for people with cold hands, cold feet, and one of his favorite plants to use for that case was the good old horsetail. So it's definitely cool, and the whole thing, you can buy it online. It's ridiculously cheap, but as with all herbs, make sure that you get it from a reputable seller. Get it organically. Just it's worth it, because a lot of sketchy things can be done with herbs, and I'll at some point make a whole video about that. But oh yeah, it does definitely. It's got some very good antifungal qualities to it, and especially for the treating of toenail fungus. So you know, the actual consumption of the tea will do that. But if you do this on a daily basis, you'll probably begin to notice effects in your skin, your hair, especially if you are in a case of you do really have dryness, especially if it's like it is right now outside, in my case, where it's winter time. That can, all these things, all these herbs I'm showing you, in conjunction with a diet that works for you and making sure that you chew your food and you're doing it in a relaxed situation, you can bring about changes to your body, beneficial changes, in a very, very timely manner. And it's really not that difficult. You don't need any, most people don't need any crazy concoctions or you know, pharmaceuticals and supplements. And I mean, those all definitely have their place. They do, just because of the world that we live in. So, but I'm just saying that there's very, very simple, safe, effective ways to bring about a better state of wellness. And that's not just how you look. It's, you know, how you think, how you feel, and how you think and how you feel actually affects how you look. And if you ever get into the study of like face reading and reading what there's a whole thing with Chinese medicine about face reading at some point. I'll make a video about that too, and how you can see kind of what you can get an idea as to what's going on the inside of somebody's body by lines and things in their face. So a lot of that can be turned around if you are concerned with that type of thing. Can be turned around by working on that internal. So remember, there's no split between your mind, your body. It's all one thing, and if one part of it is not functioning very well, the other aspects of your being will start to show that. Anyways, cool. So that's that one for today. I'll get out plenty more. Like, share. Got any questions, comments? Shoot them to me. Talk to you later.